studied the stars, it wasn't like today we would imagine it, which looks almost like a peculiar, if not pseudo-scientific kind of understanding.
Right.
Well, it's actually our deficit. We are the ones who've got the faulty, distorted, contorted thinking. We think it's mad because we do think of those things as just, material objects out in space. Mm-hmm. We don't know anything about the archetypal realm or these intimate connections between consciousness and matter. But the ancients knew it, and they knew that if you study something external, you are studying yourself. You are studying man. There's no divide or division between it. It's just impossible to accept that, so many civilizations could divide the zodiac into similar, houses. And remember, I'm being quite brief about this. There's many other points of similarity. The symbols of the constellations, worshipping the same stars for the same reasons, etc. You find all of this. So you could accept that, all of this happened what's called autothonously, meaning individually per nation, per cult. But I think that the chances of that, just from a pure point of probability is so astronomical, it couldn't be the truth. Logically, it could. The reason is that one elite group, like the trickle-down theory, that this was the way that the great magi understood the stars. This was their particular syllabus, and then the syllabus was then transplanted and copied and emulated, and eventually, of course, corrupted by these different cults and these different churches and these different nations. That's the way to look at it.
If we take into account here also the by now very known theory of diffusionism, the seas are open roads to travel. There's a very clear and easy connection between the probably back then a global seafaring people that again obviously were looking for the stars because that's the place where you navigate from, or you navigate via the stars. And there's also the possibility that the most clear connection between, first of all, why they were looking at the stars to begin with, but also that this was a global civilization, and they obviously discovered the zodiac through looking at the stars, and this was transplanted globally. What do you think about that?
Absolutely, no question about it in my mind. And all I would add to that is that there's two things. One is that the intelligence level of those people can now not be doubted. So let's cast away this derogatory, denigrating feeling that these people were just, barbarians. Right. Because anyone who could navigate the high seas, anyone who could demarcate the zodiac, anyone who could know that much about the behavior of certain stars and constellations, let's go even further, anyone who could calculate precession of the equinoxes here, my God, what are we talking about? We're talking about scientists' incredible intelligence, the Naros cycle, the Sothic cycle, the famous, what's the other one, the Saros cycle. We're talking about cycles that last multi-thousands of years.
Yeah.
But you see, you used the word navigate. Navis, that comes from novice, N-A-V-I-S. What do you think a novice is in the church? What do you think a sexton is, or a minister, or a magistrate, or a nun, or a monk, or a master, or a minister? You see, or a monastery. My God, we're knee-deep in astrotheology when you really get into what's going on here. Yeah. The navigators, the novice, the ones who measure God, right? Measure the stars, watch the rising and the setting of the sun. This is picked up in the Christian world, if people only know how to read the signs and look at the etymology and so on. But you're absolutely right. Yeah. This fusion is worldwide, and this is one. Remember, I said the red file, some of the stuff that is on the top of the list of what the human race should never ever find out about. Indeed, this diffusionism is one of those things. That's why they will rather pay PhDs and give them their budgets to run around and not answer questions. And even if they then have to answer a question, they'll do so in a way that creates 100 other questions. This is what they'll do. Because the last thing you can find out about is the reason why there's cocaine in the tombs of Egyptian pharaohs is because there was a connection between South America and Egypt.
That's right. Absolutely right.
Amazing, isn't it?
Yeah.
Wow, what a thunder, thunder has struck, lightning has flashed. We can't accept it. It's too immense. Listen.
Yeah.
Of course, then they're going to think people like myself are crazy when we talk about Atlantis and Lemuria. I mean, look at the world we're living in, Henrik.
Yeah.
Look how primitive people are in their mind.